Over the past few decades, we've seen handhelds come and go. Some of them were successful and others clearly were not. However, there is a grey area of unsuccessful handhelds that are still a joy to own. So, without further ado, here are 6 handheld failures that are actually pretty cool.
I like Lynx, the screen is bigger! I like Lynx, more can play at the same time! Lynx has 16 bits!
I like Gameboy.
SNK was champion when it came to great arcade games. They also made some consoles and even a handheld system called the Neo Geo Pocket. It was a direct competitor to Nintendo's Game Boy.
I'm not the boy. I'm not boy. I'm not boy.
I'm not boy.
Neo Geo Pocket から新登場.
Just like the Game Boy, it also had a color model. Both systems sold around 2 million units combined. It was an incredibly powerful handheld back in the day, but that wasn't good enough to save it from being a big failure.
146 color display. 6 cool styles. The graphics will blow you away.
The Japanese company NEC had its own Game Boy competitor with the TurboExpress. This handheld played TurboGrafx 16 games and therefore really was a portable console. However, the system was way too expensive with a price of $300 upon release in 1990. With 1.5 million units sold, it wasn't a great success, but it's still a cool piece of hardware to own. The SEGA Genesis Nomad succeeded the SEGA Game Gear and was the last handheld released by SEGA. Just like the TurboExpress, the SEGA Nomad was a portable console. It played SEGA Genesis cartridges and featured a video out function to hook it up to a regular television. Unfortunately, it was a major commercial failure and only had a very short lifespan.
You gonna buy the same old Game Boy?
Atari Lynx, the portable video arcade.
Atari's bulky Lynx handheld didn't really fit in your pockets. But who cares, because it played games in color.
With the biggest screen for full color attraction, stereo sound and 16-bit action, and more games for total satisfaction.
Released in the late 80s, the Atari Lynx made it possible to play color games on the move. Just like the Game Boy, it featured the function to play multiplayer games with a link cable. The Lynx sold around 3 million units, which was unfortunately too little to call it a success.
Lynx will blow you away. Lynx, more fun and games from Atari.
The SEGA Game Gear is probably the most successful device on the list with over 10 million units sold. The Game Gear had a color display just like the Lynx, but couldn't compete with the almighty Game Boy. Quite a shame, because it had some great games and even a TV tuner.
You can turn it into TV! Wow, excellent! With headphones!
If you do pick up a Game Gear, don't forget to stock up on batteries, because this one eats them like a pig. The Bandai Wonderswan color only came out in Japan, but it's a real must-have if you love handheld gaming. This weird little device can be played horizontally and vertically and is powered by a single AA battery. Bandai also released the Swan Crystal and altogether sold about 3.5 million units. This one is definitely worth importing if you like crazy Japanese games.
推理ナビゲーションゲーム名探偵コナン夕暮れの王女4月5日発売
Wonderswan!